The night sky over the Potomac River was ripped apart by tragedy on January 29, 2025. A horrifying mid-air collision claimed the lives of all those on board an American Airlines passenger jet and a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter. The incident, occurring just south of Reagan National Airport, sent shockwaves across the nation and beyond. The tranquil waters of the Potomac, reflecting the city lights, became a scene of unimaginable sorrow. As news of the disaster spread, a sense of disbelief and grief gripped the nation. The crash served as a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the inherent risks associated with air travel. American Airlines Flight 5342, operated by PSA Airlines, was on a routine flight from Wichita, Kansas to Washington, D.C. Carrying 64 souls, the aircraft was preparing for its final descent into Reagan National Airport. Meanwhile, a U.S. Army Black Hawk helicopter with a crew of 3 was conducting a training exercise in the vicinity. The helicopter, a familiar sight in the skies near the nation's capital, was engaged in routine maneuvers. Their paths, unfortunately, were destined to intersect with catastrophic consequences. As Flight 5342 approached Reagan National Airport, the Black Hawk helicopter, on its training mission, veered into the path of the oncoming jet. The collision, as described by eyewitnesses, was sudden and violent. The impact was heard for miles around, shaking homes and businesses along the Potomac River. Debris from both aircraft rained down into the icy waters below, marking the tragic end of both flights. Immediately following the collision, a massive search and rescue operation swung into action. First responders from multiple agencies, including the Coast Guard, raced to the crash site, hoping against hope for survivors. Boats scoured the debris field, their searchlights piercing the darkness. Divers plunged into the frigid waters, determined to locate any sign of life. However, as the hours passed, the grim reality of the situation became apparent. The search for survivors transitioned into a heart-wrenching recovery effort. Reagan National Airport, grounded by tragedy. The impact of the collision extended far beyond the immediate crash site. Reagan National Airport, a vital transportation hub, was immediately closed following the incident. Flights were grounded and the airport fell silent as the nation mourned. The closure of Reagan National Airport, while necessary, caused significant disruption to air travel in the region. Thousands of passengers were stranded, their travel plans thrown into disarray. The airport remained closed for several hours as investigators began their work. Unraveling the tragedy, the NTSB investigation, the National Transportation Safety Board, or NTSB, the agency responsible for investigating aviation accidents, immediately dispatched a team of experts to the crash site. Their mission: to determine the cause of the collision and prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. The investigation, a complex and meticulous process, will involve analyzing air traffic control recordings, examining wreckage recovered from the Potomac, and interviewing witnesses. Early indications suggest that the Black Hawk helicopter may have strayed into the flight path of the American Airlines jet. However, the NTSB is committed to conducting a thorough and impartial investigation to determine the root cause of the accident. Voices of sorrow, promises of truth. In the wake of the tragedy, condolences and expressions of sympathy poured in from around the world. President Trump, visibly shaken, addressed the nation, offering his condolences to the families of the victims and vowing a full investigation into the incident. The families of those lost in the crash, overcome with grief, struggled to come to terms with their loss. The outpouring of support from across the country provided a small measure of comfort during this incredibly difficult time. Wichita weeps, a community united in grief. The city of Wichita, Kansas, the origin of Flight 5342, was particularly hard hit by the tragedy. The American Airlines flight had been carrying a group of figure skaters from Wichita to a competition in Washington, D.C. Their dreams were cut short, their potential forever unrealized. The Wichita community came together to mourn the loss of their friends, neighbors, and loved ones. Vigils were held, and memorials were erected to honor the memory of those lost in the crash. The city, united in grief, vowed to support the families of the victims and keep their memory alive. Ensuring safer skies, lessons from the Potomac. The tragic Midair collision over the Potomac River serves as a somber reminder of the importance of aviation safety. While air travel remains statistically the safest mode of transportation, accidents like this highlight the need for constant vigilance and improvement. The NTSB investigation, once complete, will undoubtedly lead to recommendations for enhancing aviation safety protocols. From improving air traffic control procedures to enhancing pilot training, every effort must be made to prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. The skies above us, though vast, are a shared responsibility. It is through learning from past tragedies that we can strive to make air travel safer for all. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more updates.